If you don't, I still remember it all. You were my shelter from the rain when it fall. I would call, but never came. I'm not perfect, but I swear I've changed.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast. I am your host. I am Caitlin Kenna, and today what we're going to be discussing is we're going to get a little bit into the nutrition aspect of things. You guys know, if you've been following the podcast for a while, or if you're new here, now you're about to know. For a living, what I do, my career is an online fitness and nutrition coach, and I also work heavily in the education department of our Hidden Summit team. So, what we're going to be focusing on today is how to choose the best nutrition approach for you in 2023. And we're going to do that by applying the 5 core values of nutrition. And we can call this like the 5 core values of dieting. But, to be honest with you guys, I'll use the word diet here and there throughout this. But I fucking hate the word diet because I feel like so many people associate the word diet with restriction, when in all reality, a diet is just a nutrition approach and it's just how you eat and how you live. So, just for those purposes, I'll use the word diet probably a couple times throughout here just because it'll slip out of my mouth. But I do like saying the 5 core values of nutrition because, guys, this is a lifestyle, and that's one thing that you have to remember, that if you ever want to be successful or you ever want to be healthier or you ever just want to reach a specific result when it comes to your body and your health, you can't look at this as a diet because that diet is something that is temporary in your mind. You have to look at something that's a lifestyle, and once you can shift your perspective in that direction, you're going to see phenomenal results. But it just comes to that because, social media portrays it in a way, and you see this on the internet too, where they like to preach to you those like quick fixes, and those quick fixes draw people in because they are comfortable lies. When the reality of it is you have to find the uncomfortable truth that this is going to be a process. This entire thing with fitness and nutrition, it's a lifestyle, it's a journey, it takes time, it's a marathon, not a sprint, however you want to put it. The reality is, guys, you have to go all in on yourself, and you have to understand that you're going to mess up, you're going to fuck up, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to learn along the way, you're going to go through different seasons of your life, some seasons of your life where you're directly all in on a specific fat loss goal or a performance goal, and then there are going to be some times in life where, you just want to have a cookie and a pizza, and that's okay. It's all about finding the balance and being able to view this as a lifestyle. So, I figured that coming off of the last episode of the podcast where I spoke about how to take action in 2023, a lot of people have the goal in 2023 to improve their health, to lose some weight, to just work out more or pay more attention to what they eat. The top 3 New Year's resolutions are always fitness and nutrition related. Number 1 thing being, I want to be healthier. So, if you haven't listened to the podcast from last week where I spoke about how to take action in 2023, I want you to go back and I want you to listen to that one first. It's like 20, 25 minutes, and I go into how to really set goals based on what exactly you want, because you have to focus on the process. You can't just focus on the end goal, because you have to focus on building the skill of changing and developing habits and behaviors that are going to bring you closer to the goal. If you just focus on the goal, you're never, ever, ever going to be able to maintain the results that you get, if you even get there, because we get frustrated way too easily and we think that things should come so much faster than they should. But let me get into this, guys. So there are going to be 5 different things that I talk about today when it comes to how can you decide which nutrition approach is going to be best for you. One question I hear a lot, especially when I first start working with a new client, or even throughout social media, like I'll get a lot of questions about nutrition. And one of the biggest things I get is, hey, what is the best diet out there? Because, you see all these different approaches. You see keto, you see paleo, you see veganism, you see vegetarian, you see carnivore, intermittent fasting. You see all these different approaches. And if you're scrolling on social media, then you'll see like one person who's like an evangelist for carnivore, and then you'll see another person who's an evangelist for vegan, and they're they're preaching two completely different things, and both of them sound really convincing, and both of them have earned results off of these things. So what the hell is the best diet? Well, my answer to that is it's pretty simple. The best diet for you is going to be the best diet for you. It's going to look different for every single person. Okay? So because we are all different, there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Now, are there certain habits and behaviors that are going to facilitate a specific result a little bit better, like that you have to include in whatever nutrition approach you choose? Yeah, for example, you're not going to be able to lose weight if you're not in a calorie deficit. You're not going to be able to lose fat unless you're eating an adequate amount of protein, which is about 1 gram per pound of your goal or your current body weight. You can't not drink water and expect to see the best results. You can't not sleep. You can't not move. So those are certain things that have to be included, but it's going to look a little bit different for everybody because everybody has nuances to them. Not one size fits all. All right. So I'm sure a lot of you have either tried or have thought about trying a specific fad diet, we'll call them, or dieting styles such as keto, paleo, intermittent fasting, carnivore. I just dropped a bunch of them before. And I figure that a lot of the people listening to this, you're probably like, ooh, me, I've tried all of those things and they worked. But did they? I'm sure there was one that got you to lose weight, but did you gain it all back? Because if you gained it all back, then it didn't fucking work, right? If something works for you, that means that you were able to maintain it for a long period of time and create a lifestyle out of it. And that's one of the biggest things. People will lose weight on these diets, but they won't maintain that weight loss, and because it's no longer sustainable after a long period of time. So I've worked with hundreds of people in my career in nutrition and fitness. Of all of those people, not one of them has told me that they want to lose weight or lose body fat and then gain it all back and then some. So I can assume none of you want that either. You want to lose weight and you want to keep it off and you want to make it a lifestyle so you don't have to fucking worry about it all the time. So why would you want to start a diet that takes away certain foods or food groups that you genuinely enjoy? Because that doesn't sound like a lifestyle to me. Let's use keto as an example. There's nothing wrong with keto. Keto was actually developed to help reduce epileptic seizures in children. That's where keto came from. And now somebody out there is talking about keto bread and how keto fucking changed their life. Cool, keto can work. It can. But it's not for everyone. So if somebody wants to go keto because Karen saw phenomenal results off keto, but you love carbs, the likelihood of you actually sticking to keto as a lifestyle is probably zero. And the likelihood of you actually enjoying the process is absolutely zero. So you have to think lifestyle, not restriction. So one thing that I like to do, and this is kind of off topic, but it kind of ties it in a little bit, is when I'm coaching someone on how to change their habits and behaviors when it comes to their nutrition, I'll talk to them not in a place of restriction, but in addition. So I want you to eat more protein. I want you to eat more fruits and vegetables. I want you to eat more real foods. I want you to drink more water. I want you to move a little bit more. And when you're adding things in, like protein, fruits, veggies, fiber, those things are going to keep you more full and more satiated. So you're going to be less likely to crave the crap, and you're going to be more likely to lower your calorie intake, which will help you get results. So most people just approach nutrition the wrong way, and that sets them up for eventual failure. So diets are less about the restriction and more about the actual protocol. So instead of focusing on restriction, focus on building healthy habits. It's not sexy, but it truly is the secret to earning the long-term sustainable results that you're after. So today, I want to refer to these 5 tips or 5 questions as the 5 core values of choosing the best nutrition approach for you. So forget the word diet, but like I said, we're going to use it a little bit as I already have. So number 1, do you understand how that nutrition approach works and why you're doing it? And I'll go back to the example of Karen doing keto. So don't decide to do a specific diet just because your friend Karen saw awesome results. You're 2 completely different people. You have to use a nutrition style that you actually enjoy and that you fully understand, right? You have to understand what you have to do in order to actually be successful on the nutrition approach. Now, that's not saying that you're not going to see results if you do the same thing that another person did, but you have to be doing it for the right reasons. For example, your friend lost weight on keto, so you want to try it. It's probably important for you to know that in order to do keto correctly, which most people fucking don't, you can't eat carbs. You have to only eat trace carbs that come from proteins, fats, and leafy green vegetables. That's the correct way to do keto. Keto bread pisses me the fuck off because keto bread, we'll get into that at another time. I'm not going to do that. But, you got to start with why. And I've spoken about this multiple times before. If you don't have a why behind what you're doing, you're not going to stick with the what long enough to earn the results that you want. So a lot of people probably start tracking macros because it takes the guesswork out of the nutrition and it allows for you to have a little bit of flexibility so you can actually live your life while earning results, which is why I love tracking macros myself and why it's the biggest thing that I have clients do. But if clients aren't ready to track macros, then we start with tracking habits, okay? So there's always something that you can do that's going to facilitate the change that you want. So, number 1, do you understand how that diet works and why you're doing it? Very important. Number 2, is that diet or is that nutrition approach sustainable? So think about it like this. Is your nutrition plan something that you can sustain for the rest of your life if you had to? Not saying that you have to, but what's one habit that you can do today that you can actually sustain for the rest of your life? If not, if you can't sustain it, then maybe it's time to find something else, right? If you can't sustain it for at least 6 months, it's time to find something else. Chances are that if you can't sustain it long term, then it's probably a little bit too restrictive and it's not for you. You have to find the approach that allows you to be the most consistent and is the least restrictive for you, right? So maybe you lose a ton of weight in the first month of this super restrictive diet, but then you can't sustain it anymore, so you end up gaining all that weight back and then some. At that point, you just kind of get stuck in this cycle and you start to lose the belief that you can actually become healthy. And that's not healthy, right? It's going to destroy your relationship with food and it's going to destroy your confidence because you truly believe that you just cannot be healthy when that's not true, right? You can all do this. A lot of us just overcomplicate it. So you have to approach any nutrition plan with the mindset that it's a lifestyle, not just a diet. When you shift your perspective in that direction, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to actually stay consistent long enough to earn the results that you want. All right, so number 2, again, is that nutrition approach sustainable? All right, so number 3, can you adhere to that nutrition approach? Can you adhere to the diet? This one kind of goes hand in hand with sustainability. Can you actually adhere your nutrition plan? Or do you find yourself absolutely miserable during the week, then binging on the weekend because you feel so deprived? I've been there, and I'm sure that a lot of you have yourselves. Even the perfect plan is complete garbage without proper execution. So if you can't adhere to the plan, then you're not going to be able to stay consistent with it long enough for you to actually earn the results that you want, right? We're going to keep going back to that. A good example of this is when somebody has a plan where they're saying, I'm going to cut out sugars, or I'm going to cut out carbs, or I'm going to go extremely low carb in order to lose the weight. But they love carbs, right? They eat them every fucking day. That approach probably won't be something that person is going to actually adhere to. Even if there was any science behind a low carb approach being more effective for fat loss, which there is not, it doesn't matter if you can't actually adhere to it long enough to earn the results that you want, okay? So, number 3, again, can you adhere to that diet? Number 4, this one's really important. Does it cover the basic foundations? The basic foundations that you need for fat loss and for weight loss, okay? Is there calorie management? For example, if you want to lose fat, are you in a calorie deficit or are you just kind of guessing? Because you have to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight, right? Is there an emphasis on protein and micronutrient consumption? Is there adequate water intake? Are you moving with intention? Are you sleeping? These things are the foundations to any successful fat loss plan or any successful plan at all, no matter what your goal is, whether it be muscle gain or longevity. Without those things, you're not going to see the results that you want. Those 5 things I like to think of as the big 5 because they're literally what is required for you to earn results. And guess what? There is literally no magic to any one specific nutrition approach. Does anyone know the reason why keto, why paleo, why carnivore, why intermittent fasting, and all those approaches produce results for some people? Some people see fucking great results off those things. You see them all over social media. The evangelists, the people who say carnivore is the only way. Congratulations, you found an approach that puts you in a calorie deficit, that prioritizes protein, and that you can actually adhere to because it's sustainable for you. That's it. I know it's easy to get caught up in those fad diets that are pumped to you on social media, but if someone you see on social media is promoting a specific diet and they make it sound like it's the only way, it isn't, and you should unfollow that person immediately, or you should follow somebody who has the exact opposite approach so you can hear both sides of the story and kind of determine what side you want to go with. That person who's preaching that their way is the only way, that person simply found something that was sustainable for them and put them into a calorie deficit long enough to earn results. The reality is they could probably do a different approach, be in a calorie deficit, and still earn results. I want to do like a kind of specific episode on carnivore, but because there's so much of it on the internet and it's kind of trending right now, but the reality is carnivore is going to work for like 0.1% of the population, and that percentage of the population is somebody who has an extreme autoimmune condition, because what carnivore really is, it's an extreme elimination diet. You're literally taking out all the things that are causing you pain and issues. So if somebody has a bad autoimmune disease and they're able to do carnivore and they're able to be rid of the pain that they've been struggling with, that's fucking awesome. And I preach carnivore to that person because what that does is literally carnivore is the only diet that you can get away with that's so restrictive and extreme that you probably won't have a nutritional deficit from, or a nutrition deficiency from, because meat, quality animal protein, is literally the most micronutrient dense food on the planet. So if you're somebody who struggles with an autoimmune and you are really struggling and you don't know why you're in pain and you can't figure it out, maybe it's time to try something like that because it is a good elimination diet for that. Or you can just slowly cut foods out that you think are causing issues and you can go from there. You don't have to go extremely restrictive. The problem that I have with carnivore is that, like I said, it's for such a small percentage of the population, but they're preaching it to just general population. And the general population, they can barely maintain a regular diet, let alone something that's this restrictive. So it's about finding what works best for you. Keep it simple. Find a nutrition approach that feels the least restrictive and is something that you can realistically adhere to for a long time and follows the basic requirements: protein, calories, resistance training, movement, hydration, and sleep. And on top of that, is that diet safe? If it's extremely low calorie or it results in you depriving your body of the things that it needs to actually operate properly, like water, like food, like micronutrients, then run the fuck away. Juice cleanses, detoxes, water cleanses, run. Don't do those. They're not safe, they're not sustainable, and they are not healthy. So, number 4, again, guys, does it cover the basic foundations? All right, and we're going to go into number 5, last but not least. Are you happy? Are you happy? You know, nutrition and fitness should be something that provides your life with joy and helps you grow. If you're absolutely miserable, then what's the fucking point? Being healthy shouldn't be horrible. It should help bring out the best version of you and allow you to live a better life all around. If it doesn't do that, then you kind of need to rethink what you're doing. So, to sum it all up, guys, approaching your nutrition with a restrictive mindset is not going to help you earn the results you want. So forget restriction and think about building healthy habits that can last you a lifetime. So remember, the best diet for you this year in 2023, but also beyond, is the one that you understand, can sustain, can adhere to, follows the basic foundation for fat loss, and doesn't make you fucking miserable. So again, guys, I hope that this helped. if you ever have any questions or if you need anything at all, I put my email down below in the show notes. I put my Instagram below in the show notes. I put my link for one-on-one advisement in the First Form app, which is $13 a month, which is fucking worth it. You're worth it. So if you need anything at all, let me know. Shoot me some questions. Or if you just want to share the episode, if you found value from it, that's how we do this. Please share the episode if you found value from it, guys. And if you need anything at all, always reach out. Never hesitate. And again, guys, go out and do one thing today that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.